How you doing? How you doing? This is Brian, future Carlos, and the subject that we got was post-war era after World War One, and this is for Mr. Hernandez, period 4.
World War I was centered around in Europe between 1914 and 1918. It was mostly about trench warfare and gassing each other. After 4 years of fighting and the horrors of World War I, people started questioning ideas and beliefs.
After the horrors of World War One, people were confused and depressed. People began questioning about the war, like, for example, was it even necessary, and what was the whole purpose about the war? Like, what did each country earn, or what did they lose? People also started questioning old beliefs of the world, like, for example, in music and literature, space, time, uh, arts.
After World War I, technology advances improves life. The automobile emerges, airplane, train, radio, movies, and entertainment.
Before World War One, automobiles were exclusively by the rich and were only affordable to the wealthy. But after the war, price dropped, so that means that the middle class were able to afford cars or automobiles. 1937, the British produced about 511,000 automobiles per year. This means that more families led to like different changes. For example, it means that people would travel for pleasure and like for family vacation and things like that. After World War One, air travel or air transportation emerged, and it was a successful. It changed everything. It changed the way people traveled. Now it was way easier to travel to one place to another. The first successful flight was across the Atlantic Ocean. It was from two British pirates. I mean pilots. An American pilot named Charles Lindbergh flew a 33-hour solo flight from New York to Paris, which was like an accomplishment during the 1920s. Also, at first, rich people were only they were like the only ones who could be able to afford to travel because it was expensive back then. But still, like everyone was like excited, and it was like an accomplishment for the Americans and for all over Europe. Okay, so even though the first actual experience, like successful experiment with the radio was in 1895, the popularity gained after and during World War One. Uh, the first commercial radio station was brought in 1920 in Pittsburgh, and soon after that, many other stations began to emerge, and soon every family owned a radio.
Jazz was introduced after World War I. It was a post-World War I movement in the 1920s
Yeah.
from which jazz music and dance emerged.
Art also evolved after the war. Artists rebelled against old traditional style of painting because they wanted to show their inner imagination and inner feelings rather than just painting realistic objects. This is an example of a new art form called Cubism. Alright. Alright. Sigmund Freud. He was an Austrian neurologist who was the founder of physioanalysis. He developed what is now known as the talking cure, which became the core elements of physioanalysis. Alright, so Freud, my boy Freud, he also made a theory that humans are irrational, like beyond reasoning. some which basically means that there's like we're only uses like conscious, like the mind is only uses a small portion of consciousness, which means that like there's like a huge part that is called unconsciousness that we're unaware of, like the human mind can't like access it or something. And here's a good example of this, and yeah, it's right here. Like you can see like the white part, which is consciousness mind, is like what the mind is. It's just like right now, like you're able to get, and under the water is unconscious mind, which is like the hidden part that the mind is not like control of. I guess you could say it like that. It's really like difficult to comprehend, but that's like the main idea. So yeah.
Albert Einstein introduced this idea of special relativity after World War One, determined that the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers, and he showed that the speed of light within a vacuum is the same no matter the speed at which an observer travels. As a result, he found that space and time were interwoven into a single continuum known as space-time. Events that occur at the same time for one observer could occur at different times for another.
Okay, so in conclusion, the post-war era was kind of like an enlightenment to the people of Europe and the United States. It kind of shaped the way our world today is. Like for example, that's where we got the entertainment section. Radio, like jazz, easier transportation. The automobile emerged. Also, we had a clear understanding of like our consciousness and unconsciousness. We had a clear understanding of like the universe and um and like time and matter. Uh, it was like a revolution in arts and literature. People, thinkers and writers, express their feelings like they decided to to not follow the old beliefs and old traditions. So like they kind of like wrote their own like stuff, and just to express their feelings and imaginations more. So yeah, in conclusion, this was important era. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Instagram for more information. Add me on MySpace for more information, and add me on MocoSpace for tons and tons of information. And if you want like a whole lesson or something, add me on Edmodo. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good one. And yeah, bye.